You've tried different breathing techniques, you've tried yoga, you tried to do all these vowel modifications, you tried to adjust your soft palate height, you've tried to figure out the right larynx position, but no matter how much you try to shape your vocal tract, for some reason, you can't have a sustainable belt. One day you're good, the next day you're not. I'm gonna tell you why it's happening and then give you the solution on how to build your voice. So we cannot use the term belting as a way to sing stronger. Belting is a voice quality, it is a style, it is used as a highlight in a song to showcase or express an emotional climax that the character is going through. At least in musical theater, this is what it is used for. So it happens a lot at the bridge all the way to the end. So what are you gonna do for the rest of the song? You're just gonna belt your way through the entire song. So belting should not be the approach on how to get a stronger voice. If you want a stronger voice, you just build your voice to become stronger. But so many times I get singers come to me asking, I just want to learn how to belt. Well, why? Where in the song do you need to belt? Well, no, I just want to belt. That's where it can lead you down the path to vocal issues. So I'm going to stop you right there and make sure you understand that belting is not a way to get a stronger voice. We can talk about creating a strong belt later. I want to tackle the topic of creating a strong voice. Specifically, a strong voice that won't make you strain, that won't make you feel fatigue after singing for hours, and something that is more sustainable. The reason why you can't have a strong voice is because you have a weak voice. That's it. That's the root problem. So from there, we need to figure out how do we strengthen that up. So we're going to talk about vocal cord closure, and therefore we're going to talk about compression. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about phonation types. You can't understand compression or vocal cord closure until you understand this. So we have 3 types to consider today. We have breathy phonation, we have flow phonation, and then we have press phonation. Breathy phonation happens when the vocal folds are touching but they're loose, right? There's a gap in between the vocal folds, leaving you to have excess air blowing through. Therefore, you have a breathy tone. Flow phonation or balanced tone means the vocal folds are coming together firmly. There's no gap. Therefore, you don't have a lot of excess air escaping through the folds. You just have firm glottal resistance, providing you with that balanced tone. Then you have press phonation, which means the vocal folds are coming together too much, also called excess glottal resistance, and therefore leaving you with a press phonation. So now that you understand the 3 types of phonation, I also want you to understand how they sound. Because if you can train your ear, if you know what to sound like, then your brain will communicate that to the vocal folds. And then the vocal folds, or the muscles surrounding the vocal folds to be more specific, will adjust. And if you adjust that, then you adjust your breath pressure, okay? We'll get into that a little bit more later. So breathy phonation sounds airy, sounds lofty, sounds fluty, a little bit noisy in timbre. Flow phonation or a balanced tone sounds clean, clear, resonant, and full. A press phonation sounds metallic and overly bright in timbre. So when you are practicing certain exercises to strengthen up your vocal cord closure or your compression, you want to watch out for how they sound. So if you're getting a little too breathy, what does that sound like? Some people don't know what breathy sounds like, okay? And then if you're too twangy or too overly bright, then you're pressing your cords together too much. So back off. So now that you understand that, let's talk about vocal cord closure. The vocal folds are drawn together by the arytenoid cartilages, okay? So the folds themselves don't come together. There are muscles surrounding the vocal folds that are responsible for closing it. Now, you are already activating this muscle in your everyday life. When you eat something or when you swallow something, these arytenoid cartilages will close the glottis. Now, why does it need to close the glottis? Because we don't want food or liquid going down the wrong path to your lower lungs, right? So it must close the glottis, and then food goes down the esophagus to your stomach. So what we want to control and strengthen are those muscles, okay? So the muscles that close the glottis. Now, there are different degrees of firmness, firm closure. So there's not one fixed position. You just need to have control over these muscles and determine the firmness. And that's where the concept of compression comes in. You must work on compression to have firm glottal resistance. So if you try to belt on weak vocal fold closure, right? You don't have a lot of closure, it's breathy, then you're gonna try to push, therefore increasing your effort levels, which on my channel we talk about. We don't want to increase our effort levels when we are doing something. We can still belt with minimal effort level. And that's the goal, to create healthy belting so that you can do 8 shows a week without feeling tired, without hurting yourself, without reducing the longevity of your vocal folds. Okay, so this is why we're talking about this. This is the root problem. You need to strengthen this muscle first. This is what it sounds like when I'm working on strengthening my cord closure, working on compression. I'm gonna sing on an E vowel. I'm gonna start low, okay? And we're really just working on the control of the arytenoid cartilages, okay? That's all it is, and being very focused and being mindful of those muscles working. So let's go here. I'm gonna start falsetto and then lead into firm glottal resistance, okay? And this is important. The vocal folds, they provide the resistance when it meets with air. So when you worry too much about, do I have enough breath pressure or not, don't worry about that. Your resistance, your firmness that is from the compression that you are creating will provide the right amount of resistance and therefore adjust the air pressure appropriately. If you try to work on your breathing and you're like, let me do more yoga, maybe I'm not controlling my breathing enough, let me open up my back muscles more. No, you're gonna end up straining yourself, okay? You're gonna overextend these muscles here because the issue is not there. The issue isn't your breathing. The issue is you're not having enough firm resistance at the vocal fold level to provide the right amount of air pressure for what you want to sing. All right, so we're gonna sing on the F here, above middle C for females, and you're gonna sing on the E vowel, but we're gonna start breathy first, right? We're gonna start breathy, and then we're going to make the vocal folds come together, creating firmer glottal resistance, and then we're gonna stop. Once we find that sweet spot, we're gonna sustain that note, but we're gonna stop. Don't lead into press phonation, right? That's the control, that's the training. Okay, there's no point in pushing yourself all the way to press phonation. That's gonna put too much stress on your vocal folds. So we don't want that. Find the sweet spot, stop, and then sustain on that. Maintain that cord closure, maintain that firmness, maintain that compression, okay? So breathy to flow. And we stop there. Great. Do you understand how that compression works? Do you hear the difference? I went from airy and fluty to more balanced, clean, and resonant. Okay, let's do that again. Another way to understand this is put your hands together like this. Okay, now just have them loosely touch each other, a little bit of gap in between. This will represent breathy phonation, loose compression, okay? Not firm glottal resistance. So what happens when there's space in between my hands? A lot of air is moving through, breathy tone, okay? Now, can you make your hands come together more firmly? Just firmly without increasing your effort levels in your body, right? Just like in a prayer position. Notice how my hands are coming together, sealing off any gap, therefore providing firm resistance. Okay, not too much, not too little, but not a lot of air, if any, no air is escaping through any gaps. Now, if you try to press your hands together too much, okay, really press it hard. What is going on? My effort in my body increase. I start to feel strain on my shoulder, my back muscle, even my sides. I start to shake, right? That instability, it's too much. Excess glottal resistance. Breathy phonation, and then flow phonation, and then press phonation. So the biggest mistake with trying to get a stronger voice is defaulting to this belt voice quality in the attempt to get a stronger voice. But if you have a weak voice and you try to belt, you're just going to have a weak belt. Okay, and the mistake with most people is trying to shout or get louder with their singing, thinking that's strength, thinking that's stronger intensity, when really you want to work on your compression and controlling the muscles that draw the folds together. Okay, so now if you want to belt higher but stronger, you must understand you're singing on thinner folds for these higher notes. But if you work on compression, the muscles that help to draw the folds together, then you're going to be able to bring those thin folds together more firmly, creating strong intensity even on the higher notes. And the whole point of a belt, when you are belting higher, right, that is now called a mixed belt, because we can't do a pure chest belt up there. You want to make sure you maintain that belt acoustic without having a disconnected voice. Disconnected voice, that's what they really mean. So maintain that chord closure, sustain that brightness all the way up, and don't lose that intensity. Okay, but we don't want to pull the chest voice mechanism up. That is another topic for another day. We're just working on compression. Okay, so for example, if I want to go, now I'll see him fly, fly, I'll be your alibi, my baby. Okay, before I get there, I want to work on my vocal cord closure. So take a step back and sing it on E. This is where people don't see the practice in most vocal coaches. Sit there and figure out any weak spots you have on any of those notes. Okay, so I would go, that low note is actually weak for me because I loosened up my compression too much. Got to keep that closure. And so you really focus on maintaining that chord closure during your practice, but no one else needs to see this, right? But you will. You see how I'm doing it. And then from there, you slowly add the lyrics and see if you can maintain that chord closure as you shape things in your vocal tract once you add words, okay? Now I'll see him fly, fly, I'll be your alibi, my baby. So then I go back to the E if I'm having trouble. E. Notice how once I go back to the E, I was able to control this again. I was able to have firm glottal resistance. All of a sudden, when I sing with lyrics, it all changed. Why is that? Because we need to learn how to separate this from this, the vocal tract from the vocal folds. Two things are happening. And the whole point of your technique is to bring all that together and it sounds like one voice, one technique. Okay, so from there, once I take a few weeks to work on that, then I add on the belt voice quality on strong, firm glottal resistance. Okay, and that's how you get the strong intensity for the belt, not loudness for a belt. And again, just make sure you never opt or default to a belt if you want a stronger voice, right? A stronger voice doesn't mean belty voice. It's just a characteristic. A strong voice is someone who won't lose their voice after singing a song. A strong voice has that balanced tone, has firm glottal resistance, and have the right amount of air pressure, but that's all because of working on your compression. Okay. All right, that's it for this video. I hope this helps you understand a little bit more on how to practice and how you can get a stronger voice in a more healthy and efficient way. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time.